The Jade Serpent of Angkor Wat. The Adventures of Arin Cade. Deep in the heart of Cambodia, legends whisper of a relic older than the Khmer Empire itself. A living jade serpent, carved from a single flawless emerald, said to possess the power to control the flow of rivers, bringing prosperity or catastrophe to entire kingdoms. For centuries, it remained a myth, a bedtime story for children. Until now. Arin Cade stepped through the towering gates of Angkor Wat as dawn painted the sky in streaks of pink and gold. The four giant, smiling faces of the Bayon Temple watched him, their stone lips curved in serene mystery. But behind their ancient gaze, Arin sensed something else, something hidden, something watching. He had come here following a single fragile clue, a passage from an ancient manuscript claiming the Jade Serpent slept beneath Angkor Wat, locked away to keep its immense power from falling into the wrong hands. Others had searched and failed, dismissing it as a fool's errand. But Arin wasn't like the others. Today, he intended to find it. Inside Angkor Wat's central sanctuary, the air was thick with the scent of incense and thyme. Arin ran his fingers over the intricate bas-reliefs depicting gods and demons. His eyes, however, weren't on the walls. They were on the floor. He noticed a series of carvings he'd studied for months, naga serpents, winding their way into a perfect spiral. Following the pattern, he traced the lines to the final stone at the center. It looked no different from the others, but his research said otherwise. Taking a deep breath, he pressed down. A deep, guttural rumble shook the temple, echoing from the very foundations of the earth. Dust rained from the ceiling as a section of the floor slid away, revealing a hidden staircase plunging into darkness. Torch in hand, Arin descended the narrow, worn steps. He took one last look at the sunlit world above before the heavy stone door sealed shut behind him with a deafening thud, plunging him into absolute silence and shadow. The staircase led into a massive underground hall, so vast his torchlight couldn't reach the far walls. It was supported by ancient, colossal pillars that disappeared into the oppressive darkness above. But there was something strange about this place. Every sound Arin made the scuff of his boot, the crackle of his torch echoed back, but distorted, twisted into something that sounded almost like whispers. He walked cautiously toward the center of the chamber. As his foot landed on the central dais, the ground shifted violently. The stone floor beneath him split apart, forming a huge rotating disc carved with intricate serpent scales. It was a puzzle, a lock on a truly epic scale. Arin realized he had to rotate the different segments of the disc to reform the complete image of a naga serpent. Get it right, and the path would open. Get it wrong. Well, he could feel the eyes of hidden traps waiting in the shadows. With patience and steady hands, he began to work, turning the heavy stone rings. Finally, with a satisfying click, the last piece slid into place. The hall grew utterly silent. The whispers ceased. And across the chamber, another doorway began to grind open. What Arin saw next made him gasp. He stepped into an impossible, astonishing sight, a hidden subterranean jungle. It was illuminated not by the sun, but by vast colonies of glowing blue and green fungi clinging to the cavern ceiling, and by brilliant shafts of light filtering down through unseen cracks high above. Roots as thick as tree trunks coiled across the moss-covered ruins of a forgotten city, and the air was humid, alive with the sound of dripping water and the rustle of unseen life. "This place is alive," Arin whispered, his voice full of awe. And he was right. The ground rumbled, not like an earthquake, but with the heavy, slithering movement of something massive moving through the dense foliage just beyond his sight. He was not alone. Flanking a shimmering jade door at the far end of the cavern were two massive stone naga statues, their hooded heads raised as if in silent warning. They were magnificent, covered in moss and age. As Arin approached, a low hiss echoed through the jungle. The jeweled eyes of the statues ignited with a fiery internal light. The stone of their bodies began to crack and shift, and with a grinding groan, the serpents came alive. Their long tails whipped through the air, shattering ancient stones. Arin dodged as one serpent struck, its fangs missing him by inches and smashing into a pillar behind him. He noticed a pattern of reflective bronze tiles set into the floor around the room. An idea sparked. If he could position the guardians just right. He leapt, rolled, and used a fragment of the broken pillar to bait one serpent into striking a tile. A beam of concentrated light shot from the tile, reflecting and hitting the second serpent directly in its jeweled eyes. With a final, agonized hiss, both guardians froze, turning back to solid stone. The jade door in front of him pulsed with a soft green light and slowly glowed open. Arin leaned against a pillar, catching his breath. Glad that worked, he exhaled. The chamber beyond was breathtaking. It was an enormous, perfectly circular room. The walls were smooth, polished obsidian, reflecting a single serene pool of crystal-clear water at its center. And floating just above the surface of the water was the artifact itself, the Jade Serpent. It glowed with a soft, emerald green light, as if it were carved from living energy. Its form was fluid, constantly shifting, and its eyes shimmered like stars reflected in a midnight river. It was more beautiful and more powerful than any legend had described. Slowly, reverently, Arin reached out his hand. But as his fingers neared, the serpent awakened. It shot into the air, swirling around him like a dragon made of liquid jade. It moved with impossible grace, forming complex symbols with its body ancient Khmer pictographs, a language of the gods. It was a message. Arin's heart pounded as he deciphered the glowing script. Only the pure of purpose may claim the gift. He understood. This wasn't a treasure to be taken. It was a responsibility to be accepted. Lowering his hand, Arin placed it over his heart and bowed his head, showing respect and humility, not greed or desire. The serpent seemed to sense the change in his intent. It calmed its frantic dance and gently descended, wrapping itself around his wrist, shrinking until it became a glowing jade bracelet. Its immense power flowed into him, not the power to control rivers, but something far greater, the power to heal them. Suddenly, the entire chamber trembled violently. The ancient magic holding the underground world together was failing. The serpent's removal had broken the spell. Time to go. Arin yelled to himself. He sprinted back the way he came, the serpent light on his wrist illuminating the path ahead. The underground jungle was collapsing. Giant vines fell from the ceiling, pillars cracked and tumbled, and the ground split open into deep chasms. The bracelet on his wrist pulsed, guiding him through hidden shortcuts and collapsing passages he never would have seen. He burst through a concealed exit in the temple gardens, just as the earth sealed shut behind him forever. Arin stood, breathing heavily, beneath the warm glow of the rising sun. The bracelet on his wrist glowed softly, its light gentle and warm. He looked out over the waters of Cambodia, which already seemed to shimmer with a renewed, vibrant life. Not a weapon, he said with a smile. A promise. His quest here was over, but he knew, with the Jade Serpent wrapped around his arm, his next great adventure was just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you love adventure stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more of Arin Cade's amazing journeys. See you next time.